David Case, this is like a tradition. You were one of my first ever blockchain interviews, you know?
I didn't know that, but it's been a while.
Yeah, it was back in Seoul, 2019. Anyway, I just watched your presentation at DevCon, and I think you and Luke, thanks to Once at Ordinals, are possibly the hottest property in BSV and blockchain right now. Would you agree?
I think the potential is there for people to kind of get the vision beyond just like crypto and digital currency and stuff. And I think there's a lot of momentum and but I mean, it's really, most of it's just Bitcoin. We're just doing cool little things on top of it. So, I mean, it kind of is, BSV is what's hot in this little thing, which is weird, but yeah. It's cool though.
I mean, when did you first come up with the idea for that?
I mean, it was the idea that came up on BTC, but BSV is so much more equipped to handle it. I mean, even just the fact that like we say, an ordinal is just a single Satoshi. Well, on Bitcoin, you can't have an output with just a Satoshi. They have to have like 500 of them. And so the idea of tracking one from one transaction to another, we can just do it, and they can't. They have to put all sorts of complexity. And
I mean, that's kind of humble. You say we can just do it. I mean, there's a lot more to it than that. It's what kind of things are going on behind the scenes when you're like tracking that one Satoshi from its origin to where it is now.
I mean, it's mostly the nerdy stuff that we play with all the time anyways. And so I guess maybe that's true. For us, it was just like, oh, this is what we're already doing. It's just a slight switch in the way you look at it, and it just works. And so, I mean, humble brag or whatever, but it's like, yeah, I know it's pretty awesome and it's pretty cool.
In your opinion, like, what is the coolest thing people have done with BSV 20, BSV 21, Once at Ordinals that you've seen so far?
I mean, I love the POW 20 and the lock to mint, and the idea is that says, okay, this whole token supply gets locked up in a contract, and the contract owns the token. And if you comply with the contract, it just spits out tokens to you, but you can't create more. Like, it's a one-time thing. It was deployed with the tokens, with the contract, and it's all just one thing. And 1,000 years from now, if there's still some supply left, someone can spin up a POW 20 miner, and it'll spit them out some tokens. And a lot of it's going to be trash, but a lot of it's cool stuff. The accounting on-chain of stuff that aren't just Bitcoins, but are stuff on top of Bitcoins, I guess, is where it's really neat.
I think it was Luke maybe who said that Once at Ordinals and Scrypt contracts are like the perfect marriage. Like,
that was actually
what does that mean?
The guy from Scrypt.
Yep.
Well, essentially, neither of them gets in each other's way. So because Once at Ordinals are just one Satoshi outputs, anything you can do with Bitcoin, you can do with Ordinals. And as opposed to like some of the other token ideas, like STOS, for instance. STOS is written in Bitcoin script and has this complex logic, but that's it. Like, you've kind of encumbered those Satoshis with that logic, and that is all that those can do, is that logic. Where for us, we don't have any logic dealing with what's on chain in the script at all, so you can do anything with it.
And are you seeing many of the Ordinals developers on BTC who are like escaping or migrating to BSV? Is that a thing?
I think it's more of the lines are a lot more blurred. There's a lot of people that are interested in doing things that cross chains, or that, I mean, certainly on Ordinals on BTC, a lot of the people who developed stuff there are people who had worked in BSV, and so therefore already understood development on Bitcoin that didn't exist before, really, on BTC, or hasn't been able to. And so there's a lot of this. A lot of people are playing on both sides. A lot of people are, like, a lot of the old animosity of the hard division between chains in this group, people aren't, like, they're newer, they don't have that history. And then there's a lot of people that are just really interested in, really want BSV to succeed for what it can enable in this space, that just don't have hope that BTC is going to do there. So I'm not going to say there's a whole lot of converts, but there's a lot of people who are open and interested.
All right, hopefully a lot more. Thanks a lot, David.
Thanks you, John.
I've just watched a presentation by Rafa Jimenez of HandCash Gaming Wallet. When did HandCash become HandCash Gaming Wallet?
Right, that's a very good question. So after a few iterations and working with many different clients, we understood that the most effective industry that we could help the most, it was gaming. So basically, they gave us the right answer.
Yeah, like when I look at your app gallery now, there's just hundreds of, mostly games too. Like,
right.
How have you onboarded all of these?
Right, so we just was offering a few advantages for them. when it comes to payments, especially small payments that are instant, that they have very, 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 very low fees. And it comes that the gaming industry is where we could help them the most. So I guess that as they were seeing the experience and learning from each other, how's your game working? Oh no, it's because we use HandCash, we use this thing, we use the BSB blockchain. They were learning from each other, and now it got to the point where we are right now.
So as well as all the apps, I guess you've onboarded a lot of new users in the past year.
Yeah, over the past few years, it's over 100,000 users.
Wow.
Which is it's really a great number, and it's been such a long journey. It's many different contributors. First is the companies themselves that are the ones who try to onboard the users, and also a massive effort from the BSB community, always trying to promote our wallet. Really appreciate that.
Now, in your presentation here at DevCon, you were talking about HandCash being a wallet as a service. And like, yeah, we hear that a lot, as a service, but what does it mean in this context?
Right, so it's the concept of what we can define as a wallet for making payments, your payment history. In our case, it's also applied to game items, which they are NFTs from the blockchain perspective, but they're just game items for our gaming users. All of that functionality in a way that it's offered just as a service, right? So we create all the infrastructure, all the tools that you need to handle that, but it's just in the cloud, let's say in Amazon Web Services mostly, and we offer it to you just as a service, right? So it's more convenient, and what we always try to explain is that they just have to, they don't have to build all of that by themselves, right? They don't have to build all of that infrastructure. They only care about the service that it provides, which is payments, new users, monetization, and that's what we offer just as a service. So that's the concept of wallet as a service.
Right, and if I was a game developer and I had to build all that stuff from scratch, how long would it take me?
Wow, I think that would be very, very great. It really depends on what you really want to build, right? You can start with what we call the hello world of just making sure you're creating your first transaction in the blockchain. But in reality, when you really want to create a real world product, there are many details that you have to take care of, not only from the coding perspective and from the infrastructure that you have to build. You have also legal challenges of, am I going to be custodian of the funds of the users? How am I gonna manage the access and the security of the wallet? So there's so many, side questions that are not exactly about the product, but that they affect the business. And this is what, over the years and serving customers, that we learned that offering that as a service, so that the game developers can focus only on creating their game and making sure they can monetize it using a nice wallet, that this is just, the very easy way to go.
I was recently playing around with the Boxamons on HandCash and Omniscape, nice. and I was really impressed by the way that anything that happened in one app instantly was reflected in the other. You're like, oh, what are some of the steps that you need to just make it so seamless like that?
Right, so maybe I will comment on two things. Like, one is what makes this experience so easy to make it real is the fact that we use a blockchain, interoperability, and sharing data in a way that is very secure and trustworthy. And then the second thing is you just need to join the HandCash ecosystem, and you can leverage all these existing games, create partnerships. In the Omniscape app, we have now just many different games that are dropping game items into a different game. So with Omniscape, you can use virtual reality, you can go augmented reality, you can go around the world trying to find game items that you can then use in the actual game where they belong.
I mean, I know it all seems, to the end user like me, it always seems so easy and simple. I know it's not. It's totally not easy to make all that happen. Like, how many people have you got on your team now doing all of that?
Right, so now we are on 10-15 team members. There's like 5 developers at the time. The team has been going big and smaller over time. I think that, what made us very, very lucky, it was trying to understand the feedback And as I was trying to do in the presentation, just trying to make the right question so that you can use your time very efficiently, right? So we were able to understand exactly how this experience from the user perspective has to be, from the developer perspective, how it has to be, and try to put all the pieces together.
It's awesome stuff. All right, Rafa, thanks a lot for talking to us today, and I'll let you enjoy the rest of DevCon.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin wallet, blockchain, stablecoins, MetaNet, the evolution of money. Everybody is talking about Bitcoin today, but what exactly is it? Learn the basics from experts. Learn what Bitcoin is, how it works, and why it matters. Blockchain 101, your ultimate guide to the fundamentals of blockchain.